Jess, it's Dennis from the Australian Rock Show. How are you?
I'm good, Dennis. How are you?
Look, I'm very well. Exciting times for the Miss Made with another run of European dates coming up in July and August, which includes
Yep,
Blackpool's Rebellion Festival. You've got to be looking forward to hitting those overseas stages again.
I am. We really are. It's going to be really exciting. We can't wait. We were lucky to get on it again. So, yes, we're all looking forward to it a lot.
Okay, and there's is there a possible campaign I saw online? Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we're doing it's a $2,000 target to help us with things like interconnecting flights while we're over there, gear hire, accommodation, van hire, stuff like that. And it's been going for about a week now, and we're at 1720. So it's doing really well, which is amazing. So, yeah, we're going to keep at it. Hopefully we'll go over and we'll be able to eat some food while we're over
You can't
there.
live on Guinness and scampi crisps, can you?
Well, you can, but it's not really living.
Now, if fans want to get involved with that possible campaign, do they just go there via your Facebook page?
Yes, they just go to the Facebook page and it's on there, yeah. Or there is an event for it as well, so it's a public event, so they can join that. But yeah, it's easy to find. It's on our page, so yeah, it's not hard
Wonderful.
to find.
I'll mention that at the end of this show. And a few months back, the band became a three-piece with the departure of Jess Coram. Obviously, the
Yep.
dynamic of a band changes when that occurs. How's it been going for you?
Yeah, it's good. It's going well. It was amicable, so we're just continuing on as a three-piece. Yeah, it's good. We're writing new songs and going on tour. We've got a run of shows here before we leave, and yeah, we've got some pretty good plans coming up. We're going to do an EP at the end of the year, and hopefully head over to New Zealand. We all really want to go there, so yeah, we're moving on.
Now, I read a quote from you online describing the Miss Made as, "We're loud. I think we're a bit Patti Smith meets Guns N' Roses meets punk." Pretty accurate, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon it's pretty accurate. Yeah, I mean, the influences thing is hard because we all listen to a lot of different stuff, but I think that is pretty accurate. It's about as accurate as it gets. So, yeah, the influence question is always a tough one because, yeah, you don't know. There's so much out there and has been over the last, 30 years that it's hard not to be influenced by all of it. So, yeah.
You seem really content with the Miss Made at this point in time.
Yeah, I am. It's going well. It's good. It's been nice to have a break. We've been on a 6-month break, so we're all going to be very refreshed and yeah, we're all really looking forward to it. I can't wait to get out of here again and go traipse around Europe for 5 weeks. So yes, very exciting.
Now, I've seen you a couple of times, including an L7 support at the Metro in Sydney a couple of years back, and I've said previously
Okay.
that the band were on fire that night, and I think won over a lot of new fans, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a great gig. It was all round pretty much the perfect gig from start to finish. So yeah, it was definitely a highlight. Yeah, it was good fun. Rebellion's going to be like that too, I think. We're looking forward to that as well. It's going to be another big corker.
So we kicked off this show with the amazing song Outsider, super catchy chorus, the inclusion of piano, which I think really adds something to that tune, and a stinging guitar solo to boot. Love, love, love that one. Is there a story behind Outsider?
Yeah, I kind of wrote it about power dynamics with people and individuals as well as like government figures and stuff that people try to take things away from you and they are the outsider. So, I mean, there are personal aspects to it as well, which I won't really go into on a podcast. But yeah, I mean, that's the overall thing. It's kind of written about toxic people in a position of power. So that's what it is about. They are the outsider. That's the bare bones of it without incriminating people.
And the piano was laid down by your bass player, Susan, aka Rexy, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I messaged her one night when I was a bit drunk and was like, hey, you got to put some honky-tonk piano into this song. And she sent me back a video of an idea and I was like, yes, that's the best. So, yeah, so we ended up doing it. We're lucky to she's very multi-talented, so that's good. Yeah, it was really fun. It was a lot of fun to do.
Was she in any other outfits before the Miss Maid?
Yeah, she was in another band that is a tribute cover band called Toxic Dolls, and she's been around in lots of different bands. She plays a lot of session muso stuff as well, but yeah, she's been in lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff. She's also a concert French horn player.
Wow.
She's quite versatile.
And of course, as many folks will know, that song Outsider was lifted off the album Changeling. Some reviewers claim that as your strongest release to date. And with superb material like Blood Money, Good Intentions and the aforementioned Outsider, I totally agree with them. The material on the record is very solid. I know you must be,
thank you.
I know you must be very content with Changeling.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, you always want to keep doing more, but yes, there's a lot to like about it. Yeah. So, I mean, we're still plugging that, of course. We've got some vinyl coming out, which is at the moment part of the campaign for Seeds and Long Days. So I'm really looking forward to hearing those songs, particularly on vinyl. They're coming out as a double 7-inch, sorry. I haven't slept very much last night. Yes, the 7-inch of that will be out soon. So it's going to be good to hear it on vinyl in the way that it probably should be. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. I love vinyl.
Good stuff. And Changeling was produced by a guy called Lachlan Mitchell, a guy who's worked with a bunch of bands over the years, the Vines, Jezebels, the Porkers, Toe to Toe, also Nitocris, to name a few. And I asked this in many interviews, but how important is it for you to get the right person in the producer's chair?
Oh, very important.
You've been at it for a long time now, so you obviously have an idea of what sound you're looking for.
Yeah, no, Lachlan and I have been working together for nearly 20 years. So, yeah, it's pretty important. You've got to have a good producer that you get along well with and, has different ideas, but that work for what you want to do. And him and I have a very, very good rapport. So we're very lucky to have him. He's great and he's extremely patient and tolerant, which doesn't hurt. Yes, you can trust him. You can leave him to do his job and not worry about what he's doing. And yeah, he's a lovely guy, very talented guy. We're lucky to have him.
And has the band been writing any new material of late? Are you working on a follow-up to Changeling?
Yes, we are. We've got a bunch of songs. We've got about 6 in the works, 2 of which are going to be ready to play at the next run of gigs. We're going to keep introducing more as we go. They've got 2 that are ready to go. They're both quite heavy and pretty punk, but they've got some different elements about them, and we've got some other pretty weird stuff in the mix as well. So I'm hoping we do 5 songs on an EP either the end of this year or probably more likely the beginning of next year. The way our schedule is looking. But, yeah, it's going to be good. I can't wait. I love the studio. I'm looking forward to being back in there. It's my favourite thing to do. So, yes, it's going to be interesting.
Are you someone who often writes on the road? I mean, is there a possibility that you'll come up with lyrics and whatnot when you're over in Europe?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're right about a lot of it comes from being on the road. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think we'll get time to rehearse or anything while we're over there. But when I come back, I have no doubt that I'll have lots of new material.
Yeah, good stuff.
Hopefully the positive vibe.
Now, a couple of random questions before we move on. What was the first album you bought and the first band you saw live?
First album I bought was Cyndi Lauper, She's So Unusual. And the first band I saw, that is hard because I grew up with hippie parents. So I was going to gigs when I was about 4. Most likely something weird. But the first real big concert I went to was actually U2 when I was, I think, 12. But, that would be the first big concert. Had that and then Kylie Minogue. That's... I don't know if you admit that, but, yeah, I mean, whatever. Some people like her. I was young.
It is what it is.
Yes, it is what it is, exactly.
So what inspired you to pick up an electric guitar?
Well, I mean, I was in school with the other members of Nitocris, and we all loved rock and roll. We loved Guns N' Roses and Metallica and everything, and we were in music class together, and we all decided to start a band, and we started from scratch together. We learned how to play together, and I loved it. It was just what I wanted to do, and it still is. So, I mean, I was lucky I had other people to play with and a band kind of arrangement to learn from. So, yeah, that was when we were about 13. So been doing it for a long time. No plans to stop.
Good to hear. And of course, many older fans listening in will be aware of your time in bands such as Nitocris and also the Fyreflyes, bands I saw a few times back in the day. And if I think about it, Nitocris in particular generated a lot of interest in the media when they first started. Local street press, from memory, TV coverage on shows like Today Tonight. I think, looking back, were you surprised at the media attention early on?
Well, I guess it's pretty full on to be 15 and have that sort of thing going on, but I can see why people were drawn to that band. There wasn't really anything like it, especially with 5 young girls that we were under 18 when we started, so we were pretty full on as well. I don't think there were hardly any all-female bands that were really that heavy. So, I mean, yeah, I can see why people were, fascinated by it. So, I mean, I guess it's not really, I don't know. That's a weird question. I don't know. How do you explain that? I don't know.
Critically speaking, the early releases, and I bought those back in the day, the 10 Stories Down EP, the Screaming Dolores album, were a young band finding their way. Which release do you think showcased the band at its strongest, something where you think the potential was reached?
I reckon the Sycophant EP and probably the last album were my favourites. They were all good, but I think those two were particularly good. A lot of people really liked Butter, which was a good EP too, but for me personally, it was Sycophant and the last album, self-titled album.
And there were quite a lot of achievements in the career of Nitocris looking back. Some big-name supports, Suicidal Tendencies, The Cult, Deep Purple. Can you name a couple of highlights with Nitocris that you're most proud of?
Oh, definitely those. And the big day out when in the year actually that we broke up, we were on the main stage for the big day out tour. And that was fucking awesome. That was amazing. We got to meet heaps of people and just run around, and it was great. So that would definitely be a highlight. But Deep Purple, of course, and all those great bands and the tours, everything about it was a kind of a highlight. It was a lot to be grateful for back then. So totally different landscapes, the music industry now, particularly in the touring circuit. So I'm glad that we started when we were so young and got to enjoy so much of it. I got no regrets on that. Probably poor now, but...
The band toured a hell of a lot, didn't they, looking back?
Yeah, constantly. Constantly. For 8 years or something. Crazy.
And there was an ARIA...
We spent a lot of time in a van.
There was an ARIA Award nomination, wasn't there, I think, in around 2001 for the single Manic.
Yes.
Nearly 10 years of paying your dues. You get some industry recognition, I guess. How do you look back on that nomination?
It's funny. We broke up 2 months later. So, we got the recognition and then we broke up. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that was... Yeah, to be honest, there's other things that were more of a highlight to me. I mean, it's a great thing to get. It's not like you go, oh shit, I got nominated for an ARIA. But I mean, I don't know. It was right towards the end, so yeah.
Well, me
and the guitarist found it pretty boring and went to the old man bar across the road and had bourbons because we got pretty bored there. But I mean, it's a great thing to get acknowledged like that. But the thing itself is not exactly. It wasn't. It was fun going down the red carpet we had a pink convertible. That was fun. And then we were in New Idea and they wrong band's name and slagged us off for what we wore. So that was pretty funny as well.
So you just mentioned the end. I never knew how the band finished up. So that's around 2001. Had things just ran its course?
Yeah, we were exhausted. We've been doing it for years and it just wasn't going to continue. And we knew that, so we decided to end it on a high rather than let it flog a dead horse and not really be writing what we wanted to write. And, 10 years is a long time to be on the road, especially after you started at 15. So, I feel like it just ran its course, Everything has to end. At least it ended on a high note. We had our last gig at the Newtown Festival and it got rained out and the PA blew up and that was it. That was the end.
There was a reunion back in 2009 with a gig at the Annandale Hotel. Any plans to do a one-off reformation again, or are you just happy to let it be?
I don't know. Look, we talk about it a lot, but everybody lives in separate places now. Nobody's even in the same city. But, I mean, we do talk about it. You never know. I'd like to, but it's just, logistically it's hard. And a lot of 3 members have kids and, but, I mean, we're all still really good friends, of course. So you never know. You never know your luck. Maybe one day. Hopefully not when we're too old. Because I don't think I could do that gig.
That's good to hear. Jess, why don't we take a little bit of a break and we'll crank the Nitocris song Manic. Can you give us some background info on this one before we hear it?
I think Gunner wrote the lyrics about us being on tour. So there you go. It's a pretty good description of that band being on tour.
So then you did 5 years with the Fyreflyes. What lessons learnt from your time in Nitocris did you take into that outfit?
I don't know. I went straight into it. So I don't know. It was just a different sort of thing. It was a bit more pop and we had a good time. That band was pretty cool. We got to play the big day out. We did a lot of touring. We did 3 releases and it was good. And I got to do the front. That was where I sort of cut my teeth on being a front person. So, because there was 2 of us. So I got a lot out of that. I don't think I would be doing what I am doing now without that band. So it was good. It was a very good experience and it was all self-run. We didn't have management or anything. Well, we did in the beginning. So it was good. It was good to get that knowledge. A lot of that, you take what you learn and you do what you can with it.
And of course, Nerida drummed in the Fyreflyes and is still with you all this time later in the Mismade. Yes.
Well, she's come and she's gone. She was in the Dark Shadows as well, but we still played together. So she was, we'd come and go from each other, but she's hopefully sticking around. I like her. She's good.
Back in 2011, you released a self-titled solo record. Great album, in my opinion. Let me share with you a cool review I found online from Sanity, which says it better than I can. That reads, loaded with irresistibly infectious pop songs, this Tim Powell's produced debut treads a path of musical diversity. The softer moments feature acidic melodies laced with pretty harmonies as evidenced on the eerie Who's Laughing and the lullaby-like sweetness of Seesaw. However, Jess's love of volume is also apparent in the 100 miles per hour openers 1000 Liars and Wires and the Throwing Muses-esque Brand New Car and Simple Ways, which all tear past you in their straight-ahead amped-up assault. Whoever wrote that really hit the nail on the head, and it's an album I think more people...
Where did you get that? I haven't even read that. Where's that?
It's a review online from Sanity.
God, I might find it.
That's
pretty cool. I never even read it. I didn't know I got a good review for that. I thought it just got kind of shoved under the table. There you go.
Yeah, it's quite an elusive album to find now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's in the Possible campaign. You can buy it through there. But, I mean, it was a few years ago now. With some of the songs we still play, but different versions and stuff. I mean, Long Days is on the album as well as on Changeling. It's a completely different version.
If people want to get a hold of that album, they never have been able to, they can throw their money in the Possible campaign and get a copy.
They sure can. And once that happens, it'll probably go up on Bandcamp or something like that, and they can buy it there.
Now, one thing...
Or they can come to gigs and buy it off me there.
One thing I really like about The Mismade is your voice. It's appealing and really suits the kind of songs you're writing. Excuse my ignorance, but the times I saw Nitocris, it was only Morgana doing lead vocals. Was singing something you'd done back then or ventured into much later?
Yeah, I did a lot of the backing vocals, I was kind of the main backing vocals in that. We all did, but I did quite a lot. So I really did learn a lot from that, for sure. She's a good singer. She's a very good singer.
So before the band jet off to Europe, there are a run of local dates I want to mention. 8th of June at Tattersalls Hotel at Penrith. 9th of June at the Lass in Newcastle. 16th of June at the Royal Hotel in Bondi. 22nd of June at the Townie, a.k.a. Town Hall Hotel in Newtown. And the 23rd of June down there at Dicey Riley's in Wollongong. Folks, make a note of those gigs and be sure to get along and support one of this country's best rock and roll outfits. If you haven't seen them live, you will not be disappointed. Jess, before you go, every guest on our show gets to choose a song by an Australian band. Can be one of yours or something which is special to you. What would you like to select and why?
Let's put a Front End Loader song on. Let's put Cheers on.
Fantastic. Why have you chosen that?
because it popped into my mind. And it reminds me of that era, and they were an important band to me and to a lot of people, so they still are. So, yeah, see, there you go.
Good stuff. Let's close
My
out
favourite
with...
Australian band.
Let's close out with Front End Loader. Thanks for your time. Good luck with the upcoming gigs both here and in Europe. Keep on doing what you do because many of us really dig it.
Oh, cool. Thank you.